next year.
And Davidson's a sophomore.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, you think these races are easy to predict, and sometimes they are not. That was quite an effort by Davidson, but Schwartz was able to hold her off. On to AA boys now in the mile run in the field of 12. With the top time turned in semis yesterday by Kyle Ganoud of Salisbury Township. Jeremy Parsons of Maplewood, the number 2 seed, followed by Morgan, Smith, Peretta, Curtin, DeGroot Lutzner, and Tyler Vella. William Kochman of Bedford, Nick Sweet of Sayre, Carter Smith of Eden Christian, and Colton Trimble of Southside are also in this field of 12. Curtin, the top returning finisher from last year, he was 5th. Ryan Smathers, who won it last year from Northeast, is now at West Point. His winning time last year, a 4:22.69. Ganoud was at a 4:21 yesterday and was a good 8 seconds ahead of everyone else.
Mike, I have one more thing about that last race. In talking to Davidson, she said how important sleeping and hydration was. And it definitely looked like she was totally prepared for the effort she had to give. Even though Schwartz had the plan to go out hard and break everyone. And so both of those athletes were totally prepared to perform at their best. It's not just something that happens. It takes lots of planning and then a plan to execute. That's back to the boys' AA race.
Which is being led by Beaver Falls sophomore Dominic Peretta, who was a triple qualifier for the state meet. His coach, St. Clair Williams, said every day Dominic wants to get better and better. His goal eventually is to become an Olympian and a Division I runner. He's got a lot of time to achieve that goal. But out of a very competitive District 7, he was able to qualify in poor conditions for the 800, the mile, and the 3200 here in the state meet. He can only run 2. So he scratched 1. He's got the lead with Kochman, who showed himself very nicely in the 3200, right there on his outside, and now about to make the pass for the lead. So William Kochman, the sophomore from Bedford, has had a very busy day wearing the blue, and Peretta gives him a little bit of a response. And all the way up very far on the outside is Ganoud here, just trying to get through traffic and work his way up to the front.
Yeah, Peretta doesn't want to give up that lead. He said that he needed to run pace and he would be in a good shape. When I was talking to him, he was actually staring off into the distance. He was thinking about today's race as I was talking to him. He was making his plan. Instead of focusing on the moment, he was thinking ahead. That shows a total commitment.
Halfway split 2:13 for Peretta. Crowded group of runners there at the front. Good look at it there from our camera on the infield. CN crew has done a tremendous job bringing these pictures all weekend. Here comes Jeremy Parsons now of Maplewood to the front. And he's trying to bring Tyler Vella of Danville with him. Vella wearing bib number 144. And on the outside, Peretta with a little bit of a response now. Crowded field at the front.
This is the all-critical third lap. Again, this is where athletes lose focus. You get into you've lost all of your anaerobic or your glycogen, and you're now into the anaerobic phase of the running. And this is where you feel tired. You know you can always run the last lap. It's the third lap you have to concentrate in. Stay relaxed, but concentrate.
Parsons and Peretta stride for stride up at the front, starting to separate a little bit from Curtin. There is 1 lap to go, and Peretta with another surge.
Peretta's responded to every surge by another athlete. He's put a move back to get back in the lead.
Peretta's had a great year. He was a triple event winner at the Beaver County Invitational, triple qualifier out of the Whippeal meet. Trying to hold off Jeremy Parsons, the senior from Maplewood. So it's senior against sophomore, and a big push coming on the outside now.
Look at this
Sebastian
move.
Curtin, what a kick for him. Curtin, the 3rd place finisher in Class A cross country. Where did this kick come from? And Peretta's coming with him. It's Curtin and Peretta in a dead sprint in the mile run. Peretta on the outside, he makes the pass. Curtin's kick is going to fall just short. Peretta had something left in reserve, and he shifted into high gear easily. And Curtin is left behind him. 4:19 for Dominic Peretta.
Came through in 2:13 and he finished in 2:16.
4:19.82 officially for Dominic Peretta.
Well, that was quite a dynamic and exciting finish. We had an athlete who put a move on when it's least expected. You know, you're expecting to kick at 200. He went just before that just to see if he could